My dear students, good morning. I now like to teach you articles. I think you are quite familiar with articles. But unfortunately, many people think that articles are separate parts of speech. As a matter of fact, articles are not a separate parts of speech. They are part and parcel of speech. They are nothing but adjectives. In other words, they are demonstrative adjectives. They are demonstrative adjectives. You know about articles a, an and the. A and an are the weakened forms of one. The is the weakened form of that. Articles are not a separate parts of speech. They are demonstrative adjectives. They are part and parcel parts of speech, my dear students. Understand? Coming to the part of the, this is nothing but the weakened form of that. A and an are the weakened forms of one. I now explain you about the use of definite article the. If you carefully observe all the sentences which have been written on the board, you will come to know many things about their rules and regulations. My dear students, now let me explain you the use of article the. The is used before a particular person or thing or one already referred to or known to the speaker. Understand, my dear students? The is used before a particular person or thing or one already referred to or known to the speaker. Understand? For example, the book you have mentioned is out of date. For example, the book you have mentioned is out of date. Underline. Try to understand the different article at the very beginning of the sentence. The particular book, since the different article the is weakened form of that particular book you have mentioned in a particular page or something somewhere else. The book you have mentioned is out of date. Number 2, for example, 2. Did you see the boy? Did you see not anybody or not somebody? Did you see the boy? That particular boy. Did you see the boy? That particular boy. Did you see the boy? That particular boy. Now we use different article the before the names of buildings, books, mountains, great classics, provinces, rivers, oceans, gulfs, etc. Before the names of buildings, let understand, books, mountains, great classics, provinces, rivers, oceans, gulfs, etc. For example, the Taj Mahal. As it is said, we use the different article the before the names of buildings, historical monuments, books, mountains, great classics, provinces, rivers, oceans, gulfs, etc. For example, the Taj Mahal, the Bhagavad Gita, the Himalayas, the Ganga or the Ganges, the Red Ocean, the Persian Gulf, etc. We use definite article the before the names of things unique of their kind. Very important to understand. We use the definite article the before the names of things unique of their kind. For example, the sun, unique of its kind. The sun, the earth, the moon, the ocean, etc. We also use definite article the is generally it is used or we use it before a singular noun, before a single countable noun meant to represent a whole class. Right? Understand? We use definite article the before a singular countable noun or before a single noun meant to represent a whole class, not a particular piece or item, a whole class. The dog is a faithful animal. The dog is a faithful animal. The dog. Here we use the definite article the before the noun dog. It means that it is meant to represent the whole class of dogs. The whole class of dogs. The dog is a faithful animal. Next, the lotus is the magnificent of all flowers. The lotus. Actually, here it is written to represent a whole class of flowers. The lotus is the magnificent of all flowers. We use definite article the before the terms showing nationality and community. Nationality and community, to indicate nationality and community, we use the definite article the. For example, the American, the Japanese, the Chinese, etc. Try to understand. We also use the definite article the before superlatives. I think you are quite familiar with this in our 10th class also. We use the definite article the before superlatives. Kalidasa is the greatest Sanskrit poet. Kalidasa is the greatest Sanskrit poet. The definite article the is used before the superlative degree greatest. Understand in the example. Kalidasa is the greatest Sanskrit poet. Dr. DBS is the best of his counterparts. Dr. DBS is the best of his counterparts. The different article D is used before the superlative, that is best. Dr. DBS is the best of his counterparts. We use different article D as an adverb with a comparative. We use different article D as an adverb with a comparative. For example, the more we get, the more we desire. The more we get, the more we desire. Understand? Generally, this is very important. We have to underline this particular rule. Generally, we use different article as an adverb with a comparative only. The more we get, the more we desire. In the same way, we use the definite article before an adjective when the noun is understood. Understand? Very carefully observe this. We use definite article the before an adjective when the noun is understood. When the noun is understood. For example, we should help the poor. We should help the poor. Actually, poor, if it is used as an individual word, it is not of an adjective. If we add the definite article the before the adjective, it becomes a noun. It becomes a noun automatically. We should help the poor. We should help the poor. Next, we use definite article the is used when special emphasis is intended. We use definite article the when special emphasis is intended. Right? Understand? Special emphasis is intended. He is the man to do it. Special emphasis. That he is the man to do it. He is the man to do it. Special emphasis. This is the thing to do. This is the thing which we have to do. This is the thing which we have to do. The use of articles a and an. For example, now try to understand. I shall explain you later more examples. The use of articles a and an. The indefinite article is also used in the sense of any. As I mentioned just 10 minutes ago, I told you generally the articles, indefinite articles a and an are the weakened form of one. In the sense one, we use indefinite article a and an. Right? Understand? The indefinite article a is used before the singular noun beginning with a consonant. Please understand. The indefinite article a is used before the singular noun beginning with a consonant. A chaya, a singular noun. Generally, this noun begins with a consonant. We use generally this different article, indefinite article a before the singular noun which begins with a consonant. A chair, the word chair begins with a consonant. A pen begins with a consonant. A table, this word begins with a consonant. Okay? Now, we use an or an is used before a vowel sounded as vowel. Very important. Very important, carefully understand. Please keep it in your mind. An is used before a vowel sounded as a vowel. We use indefinite article an before a vowel, but sounded as a vowel. Sometimes, even though a word which begins with a vowel or a vowel, it may not pronounce a vowel sound. It may pronounce or it may sound as a consonant sound. So this is very important. N is used before a vowel sounded as vowel. An ink part, an ink part, ink part, an ink part. I vowel, it is sounded as vowel. not consonantal sound. An ox. Letter is vowel, sound is also vowel. Sounded as vowel as we discussed. An ox, an all, an all. Letter vowel, sound vowel. An orange, letter vowel, sound is also vowel. So it is very important to keep in your mind. An is used before a vowel sound as vowel. An is used before the words beginning with a silent H. Very important, you know. I think many of you know about this silent H. An is used before the words beginning with a silent H. An honest boy. Generally, this word honest, which begin with H, but even though it begins with H, generally here the vowel sound is pronounced. Vowel sound is here. You can observe the vowel sound, even though the word which begins with H, but here H is silent. So then, what is the sound which we observe here? Vowel sound. An honest boy. An honorable man. Generally, we confuse that since the word which begins with H, many people think that we should use here A. No. Even though the word which begins with H is silent here. So next, it is sounded as vowel sound. An honorable man, an heir, H-E-A-R. You know about heir. Heir is different from heir. Then heir. Even though this word H begins with H, since it is silent, vowel sound is pronounced here. You can observe vowel sound. An heir. Students, understand? Next, an is, let's understand, the indefinite article an is also used before a consonant pronounced with the sound of an open vowel. Very important. Try to understand. Once again, let me go through the rule. The indefinite article an is used before a consonant pronounced with the sound of a open vowel. For example, an SP, abbreviated forms. These are all abbreviated forms. Generally, there are many abbreviated forms. NSS, ICSE, SBI, MLA, MP, or some other SP like this. All these abbreviated forms, even though they begin with consonant, they sound as vowel. For example, an SP, A, sound vowel sound. An SP. In the same way, even though this abbreviated form which begins with M consonant, it sounds as vowel. That is an MLA, MLA. Like this, an MA. Next example, we use A is used before a vowel pronounced with the sound of a consonant. See, very slight modification here. The indefinite article A is used before a vowel pronounced with the sound of a consonant. Actually, here the word is European. For example, try to understand, my dear students, very carefully. Even though the word which begins with vowel E, but here which sounds as European. So we don't use here, as it is confused by many. We don't use here indefinite article an, but we use here indefinite article A, because even though the word European begins with the vowel letter, but it sounds as consonant European. So A European, not an European. In the same way, even though the word university, which begins with vowel, which sounds as consonant. Consonant sound is here. So we use A university, A European, not an European, not an university. Now, students, understand, A and an are used in numerical sense of one. I already discussed with you. A and N are used in the numerical sense of one. That is a bird. Numerical sense of one, to indicate one. That is a bird. That is a horse. about this paragraph. As I read, you try to understand very carefully so that you will be able to mark the punctuation marks and capitals on your own without my help, without my instruction. See, 5-year-old Della was playing in the driveway of her grandfather's farmhouse with her 7-year-old sister Jane. They saw their grandfather's old pickup van. Della looked at it for a few minutes and said, "John, don't you think grandpa's van looks ugly? Shall we make it pretty?" Jane stopped kicking the ball, looked at the van for a long moment and replied, "Great idea, let's paint it." Della clapped her hands in delight and said, "Yes, let's do that." Walking towards the garage, John said, "Come in, I saw some paint cans here. Let's find them." Then they found 2 cans of paint. One was white and the other yellow. They got a couple of brushes and painted sunflowers all over the van. James was finishing the job and Della was skipping around the van very gleefully when Grandpa walked up looking dazed. He came to the van, took a deep breath and said, "Oh, that's a pretty van. The prettiest I have ever seen." Grandpa made them happy. Now, if you very carefully observe, there are no some punctuation marks. Maybe when something is in directed speech, you are supposed to use inverted commas, and full stops, and general commas, and exclamatory symbols, and apostrophes. You have to use all these things here. For example, since this is the beginning of the sentence, F5, captive. 5-year-old hyphenated word. 5-year-old Della, this is the name of a girl, D capital, not small, Della, was playing in the driveway of her grandfather's apostrophes farmhouse with her 7-year-old daughter. Again, hyphenated word. 7-year-old sister Jane. See, Della and Jane, captive, not small. This is the name of a girl. Full stop. After full stop, now we are going to begin the sentence. So, the capital letter. They saw their grandfather's, again apostrophe, old pickup van. Full stop. Here we have to pause completely. Now, sentence begins. Della, D capital, Della looked at it for a few minutes and said, comma, double ended commas begin, Jane, comma, don't, apostrophe. Don't you think grandpa's man looks ugly? Question mark. Don't you think grandpa's man looks ugly? See, question mark. And double ended was closed. Now, shall we make it pretty? Yes, Captain. Shall we make it pretty? Okay? Question mark. Double commas close. Now, Jen stopped kicking the ball, looked at the man for a long moment, and replied, comma, great idea. Direct speech. Great idea. Stop. Let us apostrophe. Let's paint it. Double comma slow and full stop. Let's paint it. Now, sentence begins. Della, D capital. Della clapped her hands in delight and said, "Come on, yes, let's do that." Walking towards the garage, Jane said, come in. I some paint cans here. Full stop. Let's find them. Let's find them. Double commas close and full stop. Then T capital. Sentence beginning. This sentence we begin the sentence here. Then they found 2 cans of paint. Then they put 2 cans of paint. Column. One was white and the other yellow. One was white and the other, yellow. Full stop. They got a couple of brushes and painted sunflowers all over the van. Sentence is completed. So here we put full stop. Now sentence begins. J capital. Jane was finishing her job and Bella, D capital, was skipping around the van. Full stop. Sorry. Try to understand my dear students here. And skipping and around the van gleefully. She is happily walking around the van gleefully, happily. When Grandpa walked up, looking dazed. But in the very beginning, they were afraid of their grandpa. Now sentence begins. C capital, H capital. He came to the van, took a deep breath and said, double comma speaking. Exclamatory symbol. That's apostrophe. That's a pretty van. Exclamatory symbol. The prettiest I have capital apostrophe. I have ever seen. Wow, that's the prettiest van. The prettiest I have ever seen. Okay? Exclamation and double commas close. Grandpa made them happy. Now you are supposed to put here full stop. So my dear friends, the punctuation and capitalization is also very important. The examination point of view, you will be given 3 to 5 marks. So be careful, read well, and perform better in the examinations. Thank you.